Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'll be doing the CSEc English A January 2013 paper 1. But if you're stopping by my channel for the first time, welcome. And please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you are alerted when new videos are being uploaded. Also, I want to say thank you to all my returning subscribers who have been supporting the channel ever since it started. And please give this video a thumbs up by liking it. It does well in reaching to as many students as possible so that we can all get prepared. You can get prepared for your exams coming up shortly. Also, you'll be noticing that ads are playing. I know at times they come at a point when you're really into the lesson, but please don't skip them. Just take a little break, refresh yourself, and come back to show your support for the channel. That's the only thing that you can do. So let us get into this paper. So we'll be focusing on the discrete items, questions 1 to 20. So items 1 to 5, the instruction says, each sentence in this section has either one or two words missing. Choose from the four options the word or pair of words which best completes the meaning of the sentence. So we'll be looking at sentence completion. Now the first question says, teenagers are usually blank adults who say one thing and practice another. Is it A, sorry for, B, contemptuous of, C, understanding of, or D, mistaken about? So we know that teenagers, they are usually contemptuous. That's the answer, contemptuous of. And when you think of the word contemptuous, it means that individual is condescending, or they show or they express one feeling and then in another sense they lack certain things. So they show or express a feeling or lack of respect. So that is our answer for number 1, B. So B would be our answer. So B, our answer. Let's go on to question number 2. It says it was difficult for her to decide on a new blank after she had rejected the two options. Is it A, procedure, B, opposition, C, objective, or D, alternation? Now the answer for this would be D. So the word alternation here, it means wavering, or actually a successive change from one condition or action to another. So it's like a back and forth, repeated in their indecisiveness, so to speak. So because of the indecisiveness, then, as it says, she had rejected the two options. So the sentence should read, it was difficult for her to decide on a new alternation after she had rejected the two options. So D would be our answer. So D. Let's go on to number 3. Here it says, this period is one which requires us to radically restructure our economy to blank it from what was basically a colonial economy to a modern, balanced, and blank economy. Now, examining this question closely, I recognize that the answer would be C. So the spirit is one which requires us to radically restructure our economy to transform it from what was basically a colonial economy to a modern, balanced, and diversified economy. So C would be our answer. So C. Let's go on to number 4. Well, I'm going ahead. So here we have it. Brevity and tact must be blank when writing business letters. A. Needed. B. Helpful. C. Included. Or D. Employed. So the answer for this is D. Employed. Brevity and tact must be employed when writing business letters. So D would be our answer. So let's go on to question number 5. Here it says, the youth was not originally a delinquent. He was at first a blank person longing for blank. So is it A, wicked and mischief, B, quiet and affection, C, remarkable and sustenance, or D, particular and perfection? Now the answer for this would be B. So he was at first a quiet person longing for affection. So let's go to number 6. So items 6 to 10. The instruction says each sentence in this section is followed by 4 options. Choose the option nearest in meaning to the original sentence. Be sure to read all 4 options before you choose your answer. So we're looking for equivalent sentences. Now 6 says the lion which had fallen ill was lying in his den, famished and upon the point of death. Now A says the famous lion was lying in his den, was sick and on the point of death. Now the original sentence did not say anything about the famous lion, it just said the lion, so that would be out. B says, as a result of being starved, the lion collapsed in his den, sick and near death. Now, it did not say that either, so we know that would be out. Now, C says, the famished lion on the point of death had fallen ill while lying in his den. Well, the original sentence said first, the lion which had fallen ill. So to say that the famished lion, that would be out. So C would be out too. Was on the point of death, had fallen ill. So that would be out. D says the sick lion was lying in his den, extremely hungry and on point of death. Very good. This would be your answer because it mentioned all that was said in the original sentence. It says that the lion which had fallen ill, the same as the sick lion, and the other part clause says was lying in his den, extremely hungry is the same thing as being famished and upon the point of death. So all our clauses in the sentence is said. So D would be our answer. So D is our answer. Let's move on to question number 7. So here we go. It says, John told his parents in no uncertain terms that he was going to university as soon as he left school. This question is not new, but let's look at the structure that it is in first. A says, John made it quite clear to his parents that when he left school, he would go to university immediately. That sounds like it? Yes, because it is made it quite clear to his parents. It's the same thing that in no uncertain terms that he was going to university when he left school. So that would be our answer. But as in all cases in multiple choice, it is very important that you check all your answers. So let's look at B. B says, John told his parents that they should permit him to go to university after he left school. Now, John was not asking them for their permission, so that would be out. And C says John's parents were told that it was obviously his desire who told John's parents. It didn't state who, so we know that would be out. And then D said John boasted to his parents. That is way out. So let's go to number 8. 8 says, I cannot understand why you have done this, since you tell me that Mark means a lot to you. Or answer options A, if Mark means a lot to you, the reason for your action is puzzling to me. That sounds like it. But let's check the others. B says, since you tell me that Mark means a lot to you, he cannot understand why you have done this. Now, B says, since you tell me that Mark means a lot to you. Now, that the original sentence in no way said that. So the person begins to say, I cannot understand. So that would be out. C, you tell me that although Mark means a lot to you, you did this. That would be way out. And D would be out as well. So we know that the answer would be A. Let's move on to number 9. Realizing that her suitcase was left on the bus, the woman desperately tried to attract the conductor's attention. Now we know this one would be B. The woman became aware of the fact that she no longer had her suitcase and did her best to catch the attention of the bus driver. Let's go on to number 10. Despite displaying a face that belied recent personal injury, the witness confirmed that the attack on him was savage and brutal. The judge commented that it was a most ghastly attack. Now, A says the witness who said that he was attacked was so clearly lying that the judge remarked that he must have been attacked by a ghost. B says, although he bore no visible signs of injury, the witness maintained that he had suffered a vicious attack, and the judge indicated his complete agreement with his statement. C. The judge showed his bias by supporting the witness who said that he was brutally attacked, even though his face showed that he was not telling the truth. D says, in spite of the fact that the witness testified that he was brutally and savagely beaten, his face was completely unmarked, and the judge was skeptical about his evidence. So we know that the answer would be B. Let's go on to question number 11. So items 11 to 15, the instruction says, choose the word or phrase that is closest to opposite in meaning to the underlined word or phrase and mark your choice on the answer sheet. So we're looking at our antonyms. 11 says, we found her appreciative of the help that we had given her on this matter. So this is not a new question. We know that the answer would be C. The opposite of appreciative would be ungrateful for. So C would be the answer. Let's go on to number 12. 12 says, while the employers approved of his work habits, they objected to his radical views. Now, we had looked at this on a past paper already, so we know that when someone has a radical view, that someone is interested in seeing change or an advocate of change. So they want to move away from the traditional way of doing things. So they're open for change. So the opposite of that would be C, conservative. Conservative is one who is opposed to change. They're opposed to change. And they want to move away from the traditional way of doing things. C. Let's go to 13. 13 says, at the sound of the bell, the lower forms went reluctantly back to their classrooms. We know this is an easy one. Reluctantly means unwillingly. So the opposite would be B, willingly. Let's move on to number 14. It says the guest speaker's address was devoid of humor. We know when something is devoid of humor, it means that it is lacking in something. Or something that is devoid, it is empty. Empty. Right. So it is lacking of something, empty. So the opposite of that would be full of. A. Let's go on to question number 15. 15 says, as a result of the available evidence, the landlord was apprehended. Now, we know that apprehended, we know that person, when we think of the word apprehended, that person is being held in custody. So, if the person is held in custody or being detained, so therefore, the opposite of that would be A, released. Let's go on to question number 16. So item 16 to 20, the instruction says some of the following sentences are unacceptable because of inappropriate grammar, idiom, or vocabulary. Some sentences are acceptable as they stand. No sentence contains more than one inappropriate element. Select the one underlined part that you feel is inappropriate and choose the corresponding letter. If the sentence is acceptable as it stands, choose D. 16 says, the rest of the team was not in no mood to continue the game and went off the field. This is not a new question. We know the error is at B. So it should, instead of no mood, it should not be in any mood, any mood. So B would be where our error is. So let's go to number 17. 17 says, the worst athletes claim never to have used the dangerous drugs on their possession. So where is the error? The error is at C. So not on their position, but in their position. So D is where the error is at. C. Sorry, I said D, C. So instead of on, it should be in their possession. 18 says, the exhibition is expected to be a major attraction, not only to adults, but also to school children in that area. Is there anything wrong with this sentence? No. There is no error in this sentence. D would be your answer. Let's go on to question 19. It says, June prefers to lie in bed not wanting to go to school, nor does any work. Where is the error is? Well, we know the error is at C. So instead of does, it should be do. Let's go to 20. It says the police was doubtful whether this is the man whom they saw entering the house. Is there any error in this sentence? I want you to tell me in the comment section and I'll respond to you. And I have not responded to some in the previous videos, but I will endeavor to check them and respond at some point. So please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in our next video.